Hey, business building warrior, welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio, the only podcast in e-commerce that features hundreds of success story interviews with students who have studied the strategies that we teach on this podcast. That's pretty cool, right? We figured out a long time ago the quickest path to credibility in this industry is to actually help people succeed, help them build beautiful businesses, and then just share those stories. We have a $0 marketing budget. We just keep cranking out the success stories, and you guys keep spreading the word. If you're a fan of this show, thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for telling others to go to silentjimdotcom and check out the podcast that is changing the way e-commerce is done for thousands of families around the world. We're so proud of the track record and reputation that this community has, that this podcast has. And speaking of having a good reputation, we were invited recently to attend the Amazon Accelerate event at no charge in September of 2023. They invited us out. Amazon put together an incredible event with about 2,500 sellers from around the world in attendance. They spent millions of dollars on this event. It was incredible. Nate, my right-hand man, my coaching director, walked into the ballroom where they had all of us, and he said they had to have spent $500,000 on the AV for this room. It was incredible. I highly encourage you to attend next year, if at all possible. We fully intend to do so ourselves. And to kind of sum up the opportunity, it really feels like Amazon is putting a lot of resources into making sure that sellers feel loved and supported. They announced right at the start, by the way, it was the guest that I'm about to interview in the second half of this episode today. She announced from stage that Amazon sellers now make up over 60% of all the sales that are happening on Amazon any given day. That's right. You, me, third-party sellers selling on the Amazon platform are well over 60% of all the sales that are happening on Amazon. That's a number that's continuing to grow. The opportunity is expanding. Amazon needs sellers more than ever. And yes, I know I'm in the same Facebook group you are. There's 74,000 of us that hang out in the free My Silent Team Facebook group. There's a link at silentjim.com to come join us if you'd like. There's plenty of pain points to complain about in any business, right? Do you know anybody who's like saying things like, oh, my business is great, no stress, never have to worry about anything. Business just keeps growing. There's no challenges. There's no stress. There's nothing happening that's negative ever. No, I've never met that person. If you meet that person, they're probably trying to sell you something. Don't buy it. Business is all about blood, sweat, tears, sacrifice, risk, overcoming obstacles, figuring out a way around, over, under, through those challenges. And Amazon is no exception, but it's a beautiful opportunity nonetheless, as evidenced by the hundreds of success stories you've heard on this podcast, the 1,900 success posts that you can find in our free Facebook group, and all the people around the world that are now leveraging the largest e-commerce opportunity ever. And I would argue the greatest business opportunity of our lifetimes. Amazon.com sellers have a very, very bright future. People are shopping more online than ever before. And the basic skill set that you need in order to succeed on this platform is what we teach in the Proven Amazon course. And that's the course that grows with you over time as your skill set increases, as your needs change, as your business grows, as you bring on some help, as you start to explore some of the different selling models. That course is going to grow with you. It's a library of content that grows. So you get just what you need right when you need it. But don't want to do too much of a commercial there. I just want to make sure if there's any new listeners today, I thought this episode might be kind of popular because this was one of the only interviews conducted, if not the only interview conducted at Amazon Accelerate with an Amazon executive. That's right. They gave us an exclusive. They invited us out there, which was cool, which is a recognition of this community. There were only a handful of other media organizations there, like Bloomberg was there. They had someone writing the articles for their company, a couple of the podcasts there as well. But I think we were the only ones that actually sat down and interviewed and got some content with an Amazon executive. It's a pretty rare thing to have an Amazon seller community such as ours get time one-on-one and record it on the record for an Amazon seller community connection to an exec. It's just a rare thing. So hopefully you appreciate that. I couldn't necessarily bring out my bag of the 30 really, really tough questions and just pound through them. I had scheduled a half an hour with Claire, who you'll meet here in just a moment, and I ended up with about 20 minutes because scheduling on her part and things were kind of tight. Understandably so. I mean, she was the main MC of the event. Really, she opened the event, she closed the event. She was the one on stage more than anyone. This was her team that put together the event. Let me just tell you a little bit about Claire before we meet her. I'm reading from a website right now. She's the director at Amazon. She's at the director level, leading the Selling Partner Empowerment Communities and Trust organization. So anything that faces sellers, best I understand, there's about 700 people in her organization, and those are the people in charge of putting on the event. For example, the selling partner empowerment, which means the tools and resources that they make available to us as sellers. She's in charge of the teams that do those things, as well as community and trust organizations. Those are the people that suspend and renew sellers, right? It's a pretty big job managing a couple million sellers around the world, and her team does that. So, yes, there are questions I would love to have asked her, and I'm really hoping to continue to earn the right to ask the hard questions. And in private, we were able to have some great conversations with Amazon, decision makers. But this isn't the interview where we necessarily beat up Amazon and kind of draw the line in the sand about the way we'd like things to be. No, they're working through brand new territory right alongside of us. And the vibe that I got being there at Amazon was they really want to make this work. Everything from the brand new sellers who are just coming in with big dreams and they want to figure out this landscape, all the way up to the people running very large businesses with large teams and warehouses. They want to make this work. 60% of the transactions happening at Amazon are us. That's a big piece of the pie. They recognize that, and they're putting a lot of resources into making it as smooth as possible. Like I said before, no business or anything worth having for that matter comes without blood, sweat, tears, sacrifice, challenges. Yes, there are painful parts of selling on Amazon, but the incredible opportunities that are represented by learning a basic skill set and getting on the platform far outweigh any of those challenges for so many of us, myself included. Our business continues to grow. My team continues to grow. We continue to sell more different products. We love the replens model. Fourth quarter of this year is going to be huge for us, a record-setting year for us, followed in 2024 by most likely, God willing, another incredible year that breaks even all the other records from the previous years. And we love seeing so many people in our community accomplishing the same thing. So before I get clear on one last thing, if you want a coaching session with one of the qualified coaches from our team, someone who can consult with you and talk through your business, a free session, get over to silentjim.com, click on the coaching link. We'll talk to you about your business, where you're at, where you're trying to get, how much time you have to commit, if you've got the resources to commit to this process, so we can go at your pace and get you where you need to go. Maybe all you need is our free podcast. That's tremendous. Maybe you need the Proven Amazon course. $39 a month gets you everything education. Maybe you're ready to go further faster with a coach. And we've got 60 great coaches on our team who have built beautiful businesses. They all have teachers' hearts. They've all come through the Proven Amazon course strategies successfully with great things to show for it. So maybe we can connect you with one of them. But let's talk. Let's have a conversation. E-commerce is isolating. It's lonely, as you'll hear our guest today, Claire O'Donnell, mention. It can be very isolating being in e-commerce. Amazon recognizes that. That's why they're starting to host events like this. Hey, they've only done a few of these, and it's getting bigger each time. We recognize that it's isolating and can be a lonely business. That's why we have our Facebook community. That's why we have our live events. By the way, check out theprovenconference.com for our upcoming events and schedules of how you can gather with other like-minded sellers from around the world. So don't isolate, build relationships, go to live events, get into our community, form relationships. Those are the people that are making it big in e-commerce. Well, without any more introduction, I think the comments today introducing the content probably were almost as long as the content itself, but I was just so excited to bring this opportunity to you because it was such a huge honor for us to be the ones that were invited to play this role at Amazon Accelerate this year. And I really hope to get invited back next year as well and to continue to build these great relationships. The list of names and contacts that we have at Amazon continues to grow. They can't show us any special favors. They can't do that for anyone, but they certainly can keep us in the loop on the latest changes and what's coming and how they're addressing some of those pain points that sellers face, as well as what future opportunities are coming down the road from this massive platform that they've built, Amazon.com. All right, let's jump over and meet Claire O'Donnell from Amazon. So Claire O'Donnell, welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio, my friend. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Such a privilege and an honor. So you guys invited us to Amazon Accelerate this year. You opened the whole thing yesterday.
I sure did.
Brilliant job. Bright lights in your face and all. Standing room only crowd. It was fantastic. We're having such a great time, but I want to take full advantage of the few minutes we have together. And the first thing I want to express is, from the bottom of my heart, sincere gratitude. I could get emotional quick. Not just my family, my buddy Nate, who's here with me, and then thousands of families. Hundreds of these people have been interviewed on our podcast whose lives have been dramatically changed because of the work that you and your team and Amazon does. Families being able to work together under the same roof, launching their dream, building beautiful businesses. I mean, it's just a thrill to be part of it. And you're a big part of that.
Yeah. Well, we thank you for that, We thank you for putting your trust in us and for choosing to sell on Amazon, because there's a lot of options for businesses today. So we appreciate it.
There are options out there, but I say all the time, this is the low-hanging fruit business opportunity of our lifetimes, and I position it as such. And I could back that up, but I want to hear from you. So I thought long and hard about the handful of questions that I would have if I had the opportunity to speak to you today. And one of them is, I'd like to hear from your heart. I heard you from stage yesterday, and you kind of knew what you were going to say, but just almost in an unscripted fashion, let me hear from your heart. How do you feel about sellers? Like what when you think of Amazon sellers, what comes to mind? Let me just hear from your heart.
Wow, that's a great question. And for me, what I jumped to immediately was just so many of the incredible individual stories that I hear and the relationships that I have with sellers and that I've also built here at this conference. And it's never been more important, I think, to have a strong brand and a great story behind your brand. And I just love when sellers share those stories with us, share those stories with our customers, and choose to sell their products on Amazon so that our customers can get all these fantastic products from small businesses.
Beautiful. Yeah. I know that in your role, you are, just for those who may not know, and I probably mentioned it some of the introduction, you help sellers succeed. Like I would imagine that's kind of part of, I haven't read the mission and vision for your department specifically. I probably should have, but I've got to imagine that's kind of part of it.
Absolutely crucial. So, yeah. I mean, because their success is our success at the end of the day.
And we learned yesterday, 60% of sales on Amazon.
Over 60% of sales on Amazon are from independent sellers.
Right.
And most of them are small and medium-sized businesses.
And that's your charged mission, is serve them with excellence on this platform. So what are some of those pain points that you and I could probably rattle off? And I would love to spend 2 hours with you kind of thinking and brainstorming on this one, but we've only got a few minutes together. But what are some of those pain points that you guys are beginning to address that you can let us all know out here on the seller land? Hey, Amazon's got your back. We're working on it.
Two of the biggest ones that come to mind that will probably be most relevant to your audience is it is super complex and challenging to run a business today.
It is.
You have to wear so many hats,
of course.
100%. Yeah. One day you're a branding manager and the next day you're a logistics manager. And usually the brand owners I speak to, what they want to do is they want to spend time creating amazing products and communicating the value of those products to customers. What they don't want to do is spend a bunch of time like packaging stuff up and like managing shipping. And so a lot of what we're really trying to do is to make it easier to be a small business, to take some of that painful, time-consuming, complex work off of their plates. And at Accelerate yesterday, one of the biggest things that we announced, supply chain by Amazon. I think is going to have a huge impact. Many of the folks who are listening to your podcast, I'm sure are familiar with Fulfillment by Amazon. And with Fulfillment by Amazon, we really enabled sellers to tap into our logistics network to get products
Of
to
course.
customers. But it was sort of that last mile, right?
Yeah.
Fulfillment center to customers. And with Supply Chain by Amazon, it's a suite of enhanced services that actually goes much further back in the supply chain, all the way to the factory. So it's, you know, we can help sellers get their products all the way from their factory right to a customer's door.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an end-to-end solution. They don't need to do anything else if they don't want to, but they can also select different pieces of it a la carte. And I think it's going to be game-changing in the same way Fulfillment by Amazon was game-changing, because I think it's going to be such a powerful capability for us sellers to use.
Always innovating, and even some of the new exciting lower shipping rates that are coming for sellers.
Absolutely.
You're using your
who wants to pay
negotiating
more
power.
for shipping, right? No one.
You're shipping a lot of packages. You've got a lot of negotiating power and the resources to create some new ways to move product from A to B. Super excited about the future. Some great announcements this year, and people can read them. I'll link to them in the show notes, of course. But
yep. And I maybe just said one more pain point that I want to touch on, if that's all right with you. I think the other one that I think is probably top of mind for the sellers that you're speaking to and working with is creating new products. And that can seem really daunting. I think, how do I create a product? What should I say in my product listing? Like, what's the right way to build that product so it resonates with customers? And we announced a couple of things that I think will also make that a lot easier for sellers. So our customer sentiments dashboard is really huge in terms of helping them take the insights from, millions and millions of customers, and what are they saying in reviews? What are they saying in returns, and use those insights to inform their product development cycle.
Sure. Uncover new opportunities with the data.
100%. And then, be able to use some of our generative AI tools to then go create those listings and tell that story to customers in a way that's meaningful. And then all the way down to, you've got your set of customers who are interested in your product, using our customer loyalty dashboard to be able to say, okay, how do I find more customers like this who might be interested in my product? Or how do I give a discount to my set of super loyal customers on a new product, or what have you? And so that sort of value chain of like, I'm creating a product that resonates with customers, so then I'm building brand loyalty and more purchasing power with those customers, I think can also be quite daunting. And we've tried to add tools that will help them every step
smooth
of
the
the
process.
way.
The innovation is becoming easier for those who are willing to do the work, and you guys are creating tools to do that, obviously, and
make that work easier.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that. By the way, we love how innovative Amazon is. It's a nice combination as a seller to see a company that's as big as it is, still innovating and making tools available for the little guy, and recognizing the significance of that partnership with the little guy, who again represents 60+% of the sales.
Yeah.
What an incredible, that's never been done in human history. It's a pretty incredible arrangement. We're pioneers in an interesting territory for sure. Well, we're short on time. I want to be very respectful of your time. But one thing I do want to point out is, our community, a lot of listeners are new to the Amazon selling arena. Like they're considering this versus other opportunities even perhaps. Like, should I do this, or should I go off and start my own whatever over here in my own website? And our message to them is typically, hey, you're crazy to ignore Amazon. That's the low-hanging fruit opportunity. But I would like to hear from someone in your position, address new sellers for just a moment. And, what's the future look like? What is the opportunity here for someone who's brand new? Again, speaking from the heart, I'd just like to hear, like, what would you say?
I think there's a huge opportunity. Customers' interests and preferences are changing all the time. And so there's always an opportunity to create something new or something better that's going to resonate with customers. And so I firmly believe it's an amazing time to be an Amazon seller. And, we're determined to make it even more amazing. And it can be daunting. And being an entrepreneur, it's lonely. Being a small business is lonely. And there is a powerful selling community that you can tap into. You obviously have an incredibly
Well, this
powerful
event is a
community,
great
but
example of that.
yeah, we're investing more and more in that area with Amazon Accelerate, which obviously is only once a year, at least for
Mhm.
now. But we also have our seller forums, and we actually have a dedicated space in our seller forums that is for new sellers. And we have it staffed with also Amazon experts on how to get started selling on Amazon. And so maybe that's a good way to go get some encouragement, find your village. And I know you were
Sure.
doing that too.
Absolutely. Well, our community is kind of anchored in a concept of an abundance mentality, meaning success is as available as you want it to be for as many people as you need it to be. And it helps when you're tied to a blue ocean opportunity like Amazon, where really you can write your own story.
Hmm.
And, a lot of people in our community start off as resellers and then maybe they move into some
Yeah.
wholesale. Then they start talking about launching that story, that brand, kind of owning something of their
That's a
own. And
super common journey.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe with the few moments we have left, speak to someone who's maybe on that journey, if you could, because we have a significant number of people in our community. They're not ready to write their own story yet. They're just getting started out figuring out the landscape.
Mm.
They're reseller, wholesaler, you know, we call it filling the underserved shelf space at Amazon, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
And, we're helping keep the shelf space filled, right? And it can be a dirty job at times. Like, is there anything you'd say to those folks, the resellers, the wholesalers, maybe they're selling alongside other sellers on the same ASINs? How do they fit into the Amazon pie from your perspective?
Yeah, I think to your point, it's a great way to learn. It's a great way to get started, and to kind of dip your toe into the world of e-commerce. I do think, we're in the middle of this shift where customers care not just about what they're buying, but who they're buying from. And so I do think making sure that they're using that experience and those learnings to say, what is the brand I want to have, the products I want to have, the
Mhm.
values
Mhm.
that I want to translate to my business and my product, because that I think is ultimately what drives customer loyalty and growth.
Yeah, and we're on the same page. The trajectory that we encourage is, that's a stage one.
Yeah.
We almost build a pyramid out of it. Like, here's the easy, low-hanging fruit stage one. Don't stay there. Eventually, you need to have a story, bring some unique value to the
Yeah.
catalog. That's where the long-term security is as a
Absolutely.
seller.
And I would say, today, in today's environment, it's beyond the what. I think it's
The
also
why.
about the who and the why.
We had a great interview right before you with a great seller. We had one of the most beautiful why stories ever. Yeah, exactly. So thank you for encouraging and reinforcing a lot of things that we talk about all the time around here. And it's been truly a pleasure. And again, I would just encourage with you here to hear me say it. If you weren't at Amazon Accelerate this year, you need to be here next year. It's
Yes,
a special
please. We want
environment.
to see you
The
here.
resources you guys have poured into showing us some love as sellers, unprecedented. And I go all the way back to the eBay days where they had the eBay Live and things, and they didn't treat us like this. I can just tell you that. I mean, we were treated like royalty. Last night was incredible, and getting to see the Space Needle, and the food's been amazing. And
Oh, yeah. For
you
your
guys,
listeners, we had a block party last
it was
night, and it was
tremendous.
really fun.
It was,
really fun.
yeah, you guys have gone all out. So thank you so much on behalf of a grateful seller community for your time. And hopefully we can continue to build our relationship and stay in connection. And thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And
Great
thanks
job,
for
Claire.
coming to Accelerate.
We'll
Next
be
time, I
back.
hope I see all of your listeners there.
Absolutely. Let's bring more with us next time. All right. Well, have a good rest of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.